Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my sister's therapy after she ruined my wedding? Okay, so here's the deal. My 29 female wedding was supposed to be the best day of my life, right? You know the drill, months of planning and stress and money and all that stuff. My sister, 25 female, was my maid of honor, and she's always had a flair for drama, but I figured that she could keep it together for one day. Spoiler alert, she didn't. Fast forward to the big day, everything's going smooth until the reception. My sister gets wasted, like falling over, crying, causing a scene wasted. Then she starts ranting about how I always get everything, and how my wedding is just another example of me being the golden child, in front of all of my guests there, including my in-laws. And it gets even worse. She actually grabs the microphone during the speeches and starts going off about her struggles, and how it's not fair that I'm happily married while she's single at my wedding. The whole vibe turned awkward, and my husband's family was so shocked. People started leaving early, and I spent the rest of the night trying to put out fires instead of enjoying what was supposed to be our special day. Now, weeks later, my parents say that my sister is struggling with her mental health. No kidding. And they want me to pay for her therapy. Their reasoning is that since I'm the successful one, I should help out and it would show that I'm a good sister. But like, she ruined my wedding. I don't think I should have to foot the bill for her meltdown. I'm still angry about the whole thing, and honestly, I feel like she owes me an apology first. But my parents think that I'm being cold-hearted and that it's my responsibility to support her. They're pressuring me hard, but I don't think it's fair to ask me to pay for something that she clearly needs to take accountability for. So, am I the gay hole? Wait a second, so your sister hasn't apologized? Like, what are you talking about? Your sister did all of that at your wedding, and she hasn't even apologized? Yeah, and also, like this comment says, not the a-hole. It seems your sister is not your only problem. Tell your parents one firm no, and then refuse to discuss it anymore. OP said, I think you're right. I just need to say no and stop letting them guilt trip me. Yeah, definitely, OP. The second top comment says, not the a-hole. She's not your responsibility. If anything, why aren't your parents helping her? OP said, to be honest, I've got no idea. They're acting like it's all on me because I'm more stable or whatever, but it feels like they're just passing the responsibility instead of dealing with it themselves. Yeah, they definitely are. And also, what's this talk about you being the golden child? I'm pretty sure from reading this we can tell who's the golden child, and it's not you, OP. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole, darling. And from what's written, she seems to be the golden child. I mean, she definitely ruined the supposedly greatest moment of your life, and you should pay for her therapy? You should tell them, I'm sorry, but I can't. Actually, I too need to see a therapist because of her actions. Yeah, that's completely right. Yeah, what a frustrating way to start the episode. You're so not the a-hole, OP. The next one says, am I the a-hole for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after she uninvited my partner? I, 28 female, have been with my partner, 32 male, for almost 5 years. We've built a life together. We live in the same apartment, we share expenses, and we're planning to get married at some point. He's been by my side through a lot of major life moments, and he's become an important part of my family's life too. My parents and siblings know him well, and he's always been included in family holidays and dinners and even trips. My younger sister, 26 female, is getting married in a few months. Initially, I was so excited for her. When she first sent out her wedding invitations, my partner was included as my +1, which I thought was totally normal given how long we've been together. He's been to plenty of family weddings and events, and everybody considers him part of the family. But last week I got a call from my sister, and she told me that she's decided to change her wedding plans and uninvite my partner. She explained that she wanted to keep the wedding small and family only, and that since we're not married, he's technically not family yet. Oh my god, how rude. I was so shocked because this came completely out of nowhere. My partner's always been treated like family by everybody, and I couldn't understand why he was suddenly being excluded from such a big event. I told her I did not think that was fair. I tried to reason with her, but she was adamant. She said that she wanted to simplify things and didn't want to explain to distant relatives why my boyfriend was there when we're just dating. What is your sister's deal? That's not an issue. I told her that we aren't just dating and that our relationship is serious. I asked her if her decision would be the same if we were engaged, and she said yes unless we were legally married. I was hurt, and honestly, I felt like she was being really disrespectful to my relationship. Yeah, she is OP. I told her that if my partner wasn't invited, I didn't think I could attend. She got upset and accused me of trying to make her wedding about me and creating unnecessary drama. She said that it's her big day and that I should respect her wishes. Now my parents are mad at me too, saying that I should suck it up and go to the wedding and keep the peace because it's a once-in-a-lifetime event, and I should support my sister. I'm feeling really torn. On one hand, I love my sister and I want to be there for her, but But on the other hand, I feel like it's unfair for her to exclude my partner after everything that we've been through together. I don't want to go without him because it feels like a slap in the face to our relationship. He says he'll support whatever choice I make, but I can tell that he's hurt too. Am I being unreasonable for standing my ground and refusing to go without him? Am I the a-hole for not attending the wedding? No, definitely not, OP. You're not being unreasonable. You would see people at the wedding and they'd be asking about your partner and they'd be like, oh, so where's your partner? Having your partner there is so not an issue. Like, what's the real issue here? What does your sister have against your partner? Like, it's so unnecessary to exclude your partner. Oh, but I don't want to have to explain to distant relatives that you're only dating. What are you talking about? That's not an issue. And who said that you'd even be explaining anything to your distant relatives? Like, that's not a problem. Why are they making it a problem? Like, OP, guaranteed the issue is not what she said it is. She has some sort of issue with your relationship or some sort of issue about your partner in particular. There's no way that she actually cares about what she said. Yeah, like this comment says, it's weird that your sister is suddenly concerned about what distant relatives are gonna think. Are they really gonna care? Or even ask why your long-term partner's at the wedding? This sounds more like an issue that she has with your relationship, not about simplifying the guest list. You're not the a-hole for standing up for your relationship. If she can't respect that, it's on her. Yeah, could not agree more. The top comment says, now my parents are mad at me too. They're saying I should suck it up and go to the wedding and to keep the peace because it's a once-in-a-lifetime event and I should support my sister. That's code for they want the BS to go away and they don't know how to handle the loudest a-hole, your sister, so they want you to shoulder it. Don't go. It's completely disrespectful of her to uninvite anybody after inviting them. Tell her you aren't going and that she and your parents can suck it. Oh, and that you'll try to make it to her next wedding. Yeah, I can't get over what we just read. That's infuriating. Oh, you know, you're not married yet, so it doesn't really count. I'm gonna completely disrespect you, your partner, and your relationship. Like, get out of here with that crap. Yeah, also this comment, a small wedding but with distant relatives that don't know about your 5-year relationship. Your sister does not like your boyfriend, or something happened that made her change her mind. Not the a-hole. There's definitely something else going on though. Oh yeah, for sure. What is she not telling you? Yeah, this comment too. Your sister's treating your relationship like it's less valid because you're not married yet, and that's unfair. I think people forget that marriage isn't the only marker of a committed relationship. You've been together for 5 years, and that should be enough to warrant his inclusion. I'd feel the exact same way if I were in your shoes. You're not asking for much. You just want your partner to be treated like the family member that he already is. Yeah, you're so not the a-hole, OP. The next one says, am I the a-hole for calling my brother-in-law a giant man baby? My sister's been married twice. With her ex-husband, she has a 10-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. She's currently expecting a baby. She's about 6 months along with her current and second husband. Second husband is brother-in-law mentioned in the post. My sister and her ex-husband's marriage ended during her second pregnancy. They were together for several more months in an effort to make it work, but they were never really in love. I believe this is somewhat relevant later, and I don't think they ever really liked each other, but they loved the children that they shared. The marriage ended and my sister started dating soon after. She met brother-in-law a year after her divorce was finalized. At this point, the kids were 3.5 and 1.5. Problem started when my sister and brother-in-law moved in together after 6 months of dating. Brother-in-law did not like seeing the kids' dad around. The kids' dad would pick them up for his custody time, would also show up to preschool plays and meetings. Then brother-in-law got annoyed one day when he found out that my parents had run into the kids' dad. He said nothing for ages after my parents mentioned it. Months and maybe even more than a year later when I think back on it, he brought it up and told us how offended he was that we were still friendly with the kids' dad, and he said that in front of the kids. When my sister and brother-in-law got married, he became visibly frustrated when the kids wanted to invite their dad. He wasn't invited, but he was annoyed that a 4 and a 6-year-old wanted their dad there. Brother-in-law has this one-sided and self-inflicted competition going on with the kids' dad for the role as their dad. He has tried encouraging the kids to call him dad, has asked my sister to go to court and get Father's Day split or shared, or alternated in some way so that he can have them too. I believe my sister allows this because brother-in-law is the first man that she's been in love with, and she lets it blind her. Brother-in-law complains pretty frequently that the kids treat him like a stranger, or like a teacher that they have to respect but they don't like. Yesterday was my other sister's birthday and we were at her house. My sister's kids were telling me about their dad and what was going on with him, when brother-in-law demanded to speak to me and then tore me a new one for disrespecting him by talking about the competition. He told me that he is my sister's husband and the kid's real dad, and I should stop the disrespect. I told him to quit being such a man baby and accept that he has stepkids and they have a loving father and that others are allowed to be on good terms with their father. He called me some names and said that I owed him a lot more respect than what I was showing him by saying that to his face. Am I the a-hole? Wait, he called that other guy the competition? Yeah, no, that's not good. The top comment says, not the a-hole. Yesterday was my other sister's birthday and we were at her place. My sister's kids were telling me about their dad and what was going on with him. When when brother-in-law demanded to speak with me and told me a new one for disrespecting him by talking of the competition. He told me that he is my sister's husband and the kid's real dad, and I should respect it, and I should stop the disrespect. I told him to quit being such a man baby and accept that he has stepkids, and that they have a loving father, and that others are allowed to be on good terms with their father. He called me some names and said that I owed him a lot more respect than I was showing him by saying that to his face. Your brother-in-law is going to drive the kids away from him and their mother directly towards their dad. He's way out of line and needs to stand back. OP said he already succeeded in doing that. The kids don't even want to be anywhere near him. They always look so resentful or miserable when he calls them over. They've even said to several members of the family that they hate the weeks with my brother-in-law and my sister. Oh yeah, that's so sad. And also this comment too. Not the a-hole. He's not the kid's dad and he needs to face it. You owe him no more respect until he finds some maturity. This comment says not the a-hole and a couple of observations. Baby man brother-in-law is ruining whatever chance he has of bonding with his stepchildren. They're going to come to resent him if they don't already, and they're going to continue to love their biological dad regardless of what baby man brother-in-law wants. Baby man brother-in-law can have OP's respect when he earns it, likely never. I hope that OP's sister realizes sooner than later that baby man brother-in-law may also ruin her relationship with her children if she continues to side with him over biological dad in these shared parenting tussles that only exist because baby man brother-in-law is in fact a baby man. Yeah, that's so bad. Okay, moving on. The next one that we're going to read is on the Entitled People subreddit. Entitled college roommates were mad that I didn't cook for them and they wanted me to pay for the ingredients. I refused and they threw my stuff in the trash. I debated telling this story after the whole saga with my mother-in-law and ex-wife. Oh yeah, that's right. I feel like we did read that post. Yeah, OP made a post 8 months ago called My Mother-in-Law Stole My Collection of Vintage Skeleton Keys to sell at a pawn shop and buy herself a new phone. I'm 99% sure that we read that, but I mentioned it before so many times that I may as well tell it, but it'll probably be my last post here. I know it seems like I dealt with a lot of terrible people in my life. I suppose I was a bit of a magnet for it. My terrible mother, my terrible ex-wife, and my terrible mother-in-law passed away before becoming ex-mother-in-law. Bad co-workers that gave out my phone number to my mother, and lastly some bad roommates from my college days. But beyond all that, I haven't really dealt with much else of note. I've got good friends, a good job, and I'm physically active, but there were times I was just drawing in narcissistic people. Hopefully no more. Back in college, I had to deal with 3 bad roommate guys for 6 months. It was community college, so no dorm, just a rundown apartment that looked like it was straight out of the 80s. I was balancing school and part-time work, so I didn't have a lot of money. The funny thing is, I was the only one there who knew anything about cooking, much less did dishes. I wasn't one of those hardcore couponers, and there was really only 2 good stores in a walking or biking distance. One a typical supermarket, the other a small discount food store. That's where I went the most. I was also no stranger at the local thrift shop. My roommates mainly ate junk food or whatever else they could grab that was already made, so for obvious reasons I couldn't keep leftovers. We also had fights about them not doing their share of cleaning, but that did get resolved after as well. 2 of these guys said that they were friends before college, and the 3rd roommate fit right in with them for a while. The drama over the food started when I made myself an egg sandwich for breakfast. 2 eggs over easy with your choice of cheese, bread, and mayo. It's actually pretty good and a solid breakfast. One of my roommates saw me eating it and asked me for one too. I apologetically said no because I was on a tight food budget and the frying pan was already in the sink. He rolled his eyes at me and groaned. I told him they were easy to make himself if he bought the ingredients, but he balked at the notion. Another day I made mashed soft-boiled eggs for breakfast. That attracted more attention. It's eggs boiled just enough to where the whites are cooked but the yolk is still liquid. You then peel the shell off and mash the eggs in a bowl with a fork. It can be pretty easy to mess up and I only succeeded really half the time, but it's great with some basic seasoning and sometimes hot sauce. I haven't made it in a while, but I like to eat it on toast and sometimes over rice. I also made egg salad from time to time. Eggs were cheap and pretty much $1 a carton at the discount store. I'm also not a fan of cereal as I had to eat it a lot growing up, and I prefer a warm breakfast that doesn't have a lot of sugar. No matter how much I told my roommates that they could cook their own food if they let me show them how, they just kept on complaining that I made food that they weren't allowed to eat, even though they wanted to eat good food at home. They were completely unwilling to put in any effort. Compared to these guys, I was the only broke person there. They all had the latest gaming consoles and new laptops. One of them even had a car. I had an old N64 and a CRT TV, and they were pity presents from my friends years prior, a GameCube that I'd splurged on and a laptop that I got secondhand. My roommates were near constantly gaming and watching YouTube and being general couch potatoes when not in class. I think they thought that I'd be a pushover at first, but I'm the kind of guy that seems chill until you push me one step too far. And they did this by stealing my game systems and my food. Here's what happened. One evening I made something good for my dinner. I don't remember what it was. It might have been tilapia fillets. I ate those a lot. I even made them into spicy fish burgers. My roommates all ganged up on me over how their dinners always sucked unless they ate out. Microwave food all around for them on many nights, and they wanted me to finally make something nice for everybody everybody. I told my roommates that if they all kicked in $5, I'd make us all a nice spaghetti dinner the next day, and they agreed. My biggest mistake was not collecting the money from them in advance. I went out to get some ground beef and a jar of sauce and a loaf of garlic bread, and the pasta and canned green beans for a side. I whipped up a great dinner, but when I wanted the money from them, they laughed at me and refused. They played what they did off as a joke. When I didn't accept that answer, they told me that they were sick of me flaunting my cooking around them and never sharing it. I gave them all the finger and I told them I'd never cook for them again, and I stuck to that. They tried several more times and I always refused. They even offered to pay me again, but still refused to pay me for the first time, so I'm sure they would have pulled the same stunt again. Money or no money, I had my pride. And I meant it when I said that I'd never cook for them again. They started acting like kids whose parents wouldn't feed them around me, and they were pretty angry when I called them out on it too. I wasn't obligated to be their caretaker. I didn't know what kind of homes these guys came from, but they certainly weren't used to not getting their way. One day I came home from work and found all my food missing from the fridge and the cupboards, and none of my roommates were home. I was so furious and I couldn't even confront them, so I just tried to play video games to unwind, but my consoles were missing. I lost my mind. I went to see an acquainted neighbor living in one of those apartments down the hall, and I asked for advice from him because he was the one who sold me the GameCube. He had an evil idea. He said that he'd use his digital camera to record my roommates when I confronted them, if I wanted, but only if I paid him $20. I didn't really have a choice but to agree. When my roommates finally came back, they were all smug until they realized that their gaming consoles and their laptops were all missing. They flipped out, threatening to kick my ass, but I held my ground and I told them I wanted my stuff back, or I'd never tell them where their stuff was. It turns out they bagged up all of my food and they threw it in the dumpster outside a few hours earlier, and then they hid my game systems and TV somewhere in the building before taking off to a party. I asked them why they did that, and they claimed it was because they'd been drinking all day since it was a weekend, and then they tried to say that it was only a stupid drunken joke, while also telling me that I'd gone too far. I laughed and I said they were enormous hypocrites and a-holes to say that I went too far after what they did. I got even. One of them seemed like he was ready to hit me, and I drew all their attention to the nearby window. That's when they all saw our neighbor outside the window recording everything. He gave me an okay and took off down the fire escape before my roommates could do anything. I told them that guy just recorded their entire admission. That was bullying and theft and underage drinking since we were all under 21 at the time. I told them I was going to take that recording to the dean if they didn't make things right, because they wouldn't like having that stuff as part of their records. It was well known a couple of girls had been ousted from the college because of roommate bullying the previous year, and drinking while underage is also a huge no-no. They all seemed like the colour had drained from their faces. I told them I wanted my stuff back now and the cost of my food reimbursed. It was their move. They all took off outside as fast as they could and came back with my game systems and games in a garbage bag, and even retrieved my food from the dumpster and expected me to just take it. But I refused to touch the food because it had been in the garbage for hours and I'd only accept cash. Additionally, they dropped my TV and it was broken, so I wanted that replaced as well. They all hemmed and hawed but finally asked me what I wanted. I said that I wanted a new TV and $60 from each of them. They asked me why that specific number. I said $50 each to replace my food, $5 for the spaghetti dinner that they never paid me for, and then what remained for having to pay a guy to wait 2 hours outside our window in the cold just to record them. They all got their wallets out and begrudgingly gave me the money. They'd all previously bragged about how they had parents and scholarships that were footing their bills, so they easily had the cash. After getting paid, I told them where to find the stuff that I'd been hiding, and they stopped bothering me. One of them had a small flat screen TV in his stuff and just gave it to me to replace what they broke, and then we called things even. But after that, they avoided speaking to me if at all possible, though eventually they all started getting on each other's nerves since I'd ruined their fun. They also never brought alcohol into the apartment again for fear that I'd snitch, and they did try to harass the guy that I'd paid to record them. He said that he'd take the recording to the dean himself if they bothered him again, so they were out of luck to do anything about the situation. When the lease renewal came, 2 of the roommates opted to move out of the building because they and the third guy now hated each other. Yeah, they all hated me, but the 2 that left were especially the worst, but they liked each other fine. I didn't bother to keep tabs on them once they were out, and the few classes that we had together they kept away from me, and the one roommate that stayed actually made some improvement as a person and made sure to tell the new guys who moved in not to mess with me at all. One of them was pretty cool though, and he actually liked cooking simple home meals like I did, and he also liked Nintendo and bikes. He became my best friend and still is to this day. We even still play Mario Kart together when we can, and we took up cycling together again once I separated from my ex-wife. He's been my greatest supporter ever, more so than any family that I've ever had. Also, for those wondering where I'd hidden my roommate's stuff, I hid them all in their own suitcases that were already put away in the closet, which would have been the last place that they would have looked. They were all so pissed that it was right there the whole time. God, that was such an adventure to read. You did such a good job, OP, like the top comment says. Excellent, well played. played. And the comment below that, excellent. I'll leave now. Yeah, and also this comment, good job. They probably saw you as their servant because you were lower class. I hope they still eat crap meals. Yeah, that's right. I've got a cute wholesome meme to show you guys before you go. People my age are getting married and they've got a stable job and a stable life. And I'm over here like this. Yeah, and that's completely fine. Playing with your kitty cats in some boxes. I don't know what you're talking about. You're living the dream. That's so cute. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time today. And if you did, make sure you subscribe if you want to. And the comment of the day today goes to Vafarian. Words cannot express how immediately I wanted to leap into that Minecraft pit in the forest. I'm sure it goes into a cave. Yeah, I'll put a photo on the screen of what's in there. Minecraft is such a beautiful game. I love having it in the background. And yeah, I wish I could jump into the game too. Thank you for that comment and thank you for the support. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!